Tailor-made African tours for every type of traveler. Tailor-made African tours are the next big trend. One of the greatest luxuries in African travel is having full control over how the holiday comes together. Working alongside an expert travel consultant and arranging a tour that caters perfectly to your desires and expectations, your budget, and your preferred activities, rather than booking a preset itinerary that is sold en masse, is the ultimate way to see those parts of the continent that call the loudest to you. It also allows you to cut out things like open gaps or activities that have been included for the sake of padding out an itinerary and replace them with something you actually find interesting and want to do. For those dreaming of luxury African holidays, a customized approach is often the difference between a pleasant trip and one that stays with you for years. From private safaris in Africa to private transfers and hand-picked experiences, tailor-made African tours allow travelers to see Africa on their own terms and in their own style. How do tailor-made African tours work? The best tailor-made African tours start with in-depth research and a good amount of communication. And that is because to plan an African tour, you need to be sure about where it is that you want to go, what it is that you want to see, and what you want to do. This is not the time to be vague. Once you know what you want from your holiday, you'll be able to reach out to a travel specialist who then builds an itinerary around those insights, selecting regions, lodges, and experiences that fit together naturally. Tailor-made African tours are famous for giving travelers flexibility that can sometimes be missing from regular tours. And while you might not realize it, timing matters when creating your itinerary, and so does balance. If you were to plan the entire trip yourself, you could end up adding too many destinations to a single tour, or you could try to cram in as many activities as possible, leaving you drained. Travel specialists plan a trip that doesn't feel overwhelming, but still gives you a full experience. Once the planning is complete, the travel specialist you are working with will take things a step further. If you are happy with the itinerary, they'll get started with making your bookings and arranging all the logistics. All you have to do is pack your bags and get your plane ticket. Is tailor-made travel right for you? Different types of travel suit different types of travelers. A generic tour package has plenty of benefits, like being able to click Book Now, pay for the trip, and head out on an adventure without having to give the experience too much thought. Think of it like a holiday served on a platter. Tailor-made African tours are for those who like to have a little more creative control over their holidays, while still having the luxury of not having to deal with the stress of logistics. If you are the sort of traveler who likes to be in charge, or if you have a specific sort of holiday in mind, one that you can't find on any travel site, this type of travel will be right for you. Custom tours make personalization, down to the last detail, possible, and it is also a fabulous way to travel responsibly, as you'll have the ability to choose eco-friendly activities, destinations, and hotels. How long do you need for a tailor-made African tour? There is no single answer, but most luxury travelers find that 10 to 14 days is the perfect amount of time to settle in and fully enjoy the experience. With roughly 2 weeks, you'll be able to travel through 2 or 3 regions without rushing, whether that means combining different safari areas or adding a beach or a winelands extension to your trip. Longer stays are great for travelers who'd like to form a deeper connection to the places they are touring, and it also makes way for slower travel, something that is especially important if you are traveling from afar. A well-designed tailor-made African tour will treat time as a luxury in itself. Shorter trips can also work well, but only if they are focused tightly, and they are a particularly good option for return visitors. If you've traveled through Africa before and seen most of the typical places, booking a custom African tour will allow you to see a specific place, but in more detail. Are tailor-made tours good for UK tourists? For UK travelers, tailor-made African tours solve several common concerns in one quick and elegant sweep. Unlike travelers coming from the US or Asia, when you're traveling from the UK to anywhere in Africa, your time zone is about the same, removing the heaviness of jet lag. The flight routes are also well established and plentiful, and English-speaking guides are standard in most regions. What does need your attention, and what makes having a customized African tour itinerary so good for UK tourists is that you need a way to work with your annual leave. Tailor-made African tours ensure that you can plan a trip that works with the amount of leave you have, and that means no days are wasted. By explaining to your travel specialist that you only have X amount of days to see X amount of places, they are able to custom create an itinerary that suits you. There is also comfort in having local expertise on hand. From understanding seasonal wildlife patterns to navigating border entry requirements and medical considerations, a tailored African tour removes most of your uncertainty. Many UK travelers like to mix safari game drives and downtime, perhaps pairing safaris in Africa with coastal stays or a luxury trip to one of the many private reserves. Tailor-made planning makes all of this possible. Are tailor-made tours good for U.S. tourists? For travelers arriving from the United States, the long distance you'll be traveling makes planning even more important. Long-haul flights are best managed through planning your route carefully and giving yourself a few rest days so that you can recover before you hit the road. Tailor-made African tours account for things like jet lag, travel fatigue, and personal energy levels, ensuring that your experience is enjoyable rather than exhausting from the moment you arrive. Since many American travelers look for privacy and luxury, regardless of where they are going on holiday, planning a customized African tour that includes private guides, exclusive use villas, and carefully chosen safari areas make for a holiday that is both personal and high-end. Such a tour also allows for longer stays in fewer places, which suits those making a significant journey and wanting to have the full African safari experience without feeling the pressure to constantly be on the move. A custom tour also allows for both flexibility and creativity. When you are putting together your own itinerary, you are able to make space for sightseeing that you might not get to do on an itemized prepackaged trip, and you also get to be creative about what you do. Travel in 2026 is going to be all about intention. Customized African tours can give luxury travelers tours that have meaning, privacy, and reliability by placing the traveler at the center of the planning process. They also allow for quick adaptation when conditions change, whether due to weather patterns, conservation considerations, or personal preference. Generic itineraries struggle to keep up with these expectations, but tailor-made African tours thrive on them. If this sounds like your ideal holiday, we can help you plan it.